This video is going up way later than I wanted it to. I feel like I've had to say that quite a bit this year, and I do have to apologize that videos haven't been coming out super consistently throughout this year. Part of it has been that other priorities are taking up my time, specifically those related to jobs and my career. Sadly, YouTube is not something that I can treat as a career at the moment. I'm not nearly big enough or financially stable enough to do so. So there's that, and also the fact that throughout this year my physical health has been some of the worst that it's been in a while. Crohn's disease is a lot of fun, and that stopped my pace of videos quite a bit. Once again, for those of you that do follow my videos, I'm sorry that I haven't been able to do this as consistently as I've wanted to, and I'm sure you guys have wanted me to. But I'm gonna try to keep up with my pace as best as I possibly can. Hopefully you guys will be able to get videos somewhat consistently through all this chaos. So let's try to forget about it for a moment and review some music. Vince Staples is back with a brand new full-length record that is self-titled, so it's just called Vince Staples. This is the fourth studio album from Compton rapper Vince Staples, and his first since 2018's FM, which I reviewed back on my blog. You can find that review at the link in the description. Some of you may remember that I particularly liked that record a lot. It was my first experience with Vince's music, and I had a damn good time with it. I love the concept of the album playing out like an FM radio station. I thought Vince brought a lot of colorful performances, emphatic energy, and great rap flows, and some good feature appearances scattered in for good measure. There are still plenty of songs I go back to from that album, particularly tracks like Fun and No Bleedin' that I've looped countless times. FM was also refreshing back in 2018. In a year where so many artists were content to stream troll and release 20-plus song albums that were over an hour and a half long that frankly had no business being that long, Vince was able to pack a fantastic, fulfilling record into just 11 tracks in 22 minutes. While that album didn't turn me into a huge Vince Staples hardcore fan, I still have to go back and listen to his older stuff, it did get me excited for whatever he would drop next. Thus, we have this album, which once again leans very short at 10 tracks in 22 minutes. And honestly, I could see this thing being a bit polarizing to some people, because I like it quite a bit actually. However, if you were like me and you got into Vince with FM and now you expect this album to be another helping of that, you might be a bit disappointed. With this album, I can't say there are many bangers. This is Vince stripping things down and getting very intimate and personal with us. There are a few tracks near the back end that up the ante a bit in terms of production, but even then, Vince mostly takes this time to delve a little deeper into himself. Right from the jump, the singles Are You With That and Law of Averages kick off the album with Vince getting very personal, showing us a side that we hadn't really seen in his previous music. Are You With That features a more spacey and ethereal beat, and Vince himself sounds a bit more melodic on the track, but this change of tone actually works very well. It gives the song a bit more of an emotional edge that I really appreciate. Law of Averages also has a much more sparse beat with what feels like a bit more soul influence. I think Vince's performance feels a bit more subdued as well, but it's still a good listen, and the sample of Wild Dream by Resque is implemented amazingly here. Things continue in that direction with Sundown Town, which has a bit more of a bass groove to it and a few more good implementations of samples. Vince keeps things a bit more mellow here, but his storytelling is dark and compelling, and he weaves it all together with solid wordplay as well. The Shining has a pretty fitting title because the instrumental on this track is built off of these pianos that sound like they're almost glistening. The glitziness of it almost reminds me of a music box, just one that has a trap drum beat in it as well. Vince rides the beat very nicely, and it ends up being another very compelling track. And Take Me Home is the only cut on here with a feature, that being Fouché. This is probably Vince's most intense song on the record, one where he absolutely bears it all in regards to a lot of his emotional baggage. And in that, I think he does a very good job. While he raps in his usual tone, you can hear his voice almost cracking at points, as if he's starting to get a bit overwhelmed by the emotion of his bars. I also love the smooth singing of Fouché on the hook, and that helps round out what is definitely one of the album's strongest points. I'll say the one thing I didn't really care for on this album were the spoken word interludes. I've already talked ad nauseum about the fact that I don't care for spoken word tracks, and the two on this record, The Apple and The Tree in Lakewood Mall, don't really do anything for me. I do appreciate what they add to the album, but that doesn't mean I really want to go back to them all that much. And personally, I couldn't really get into the track Taking Trips, as while the instrumental has a slightly brighter feel to it, this is another song undone by a very repetitive chorus. When a song just repeats one word as many times as this one does, it's just too easy for me to lose interest. Those tracks didn't really dampen my enjoyment of the album though, and I do think the bangers on the back end, Lil Fade and tie things up pretty nicely. Lil Fade still takes things a bit softer than some of Vince's other bangers, but the beat is a bit busier and the flows feel like they have some more bounce to them. The song succeeds on the strength of Vince riding the beat amazingly and also coming through with one of the record's better hooks as well. Closes the album out with easily the most energetic beat on the entire project. Vince has a little bit of fun with it too, crafting another catchy and memorable chorus to go along with his his enticing flows, it's definitely a good pick to end the album off on. Overall, I did quite enjoy my time with this project. I do still think it's not going to be for everyone. As I mentioned, Vince isn't making bangers here like he did on FM, so don't go in expecting those. As it is though, Vince is getting very candid with us, delivering some of his most raw storytelling and personal lyricism to date. It feels like a side of him we haven't really seen, but it's definitely an interesting new direction. And even though the production is a lot more subdued, I think the implementations of lighter sounds help put the attention on the stories and the writing as well as Vince's performances. He brings a good deal of emotion to the table and proves that he can still craft a catchy hook and come through with some clever wordplay. It's hard to say if this will do for me what FM did, but I can definitely say I enjoyed my time with it. I've also heard Vince has another album in the works titled Ramona Parks Broke My Heart, and while I'm not sure how this will play into that, I'm nevertheless excited to see where Vince goes beyond this. Whether it's a further dive into himself or a jump back into banger territory, Vince is sure to make it great. Overall, my rating scale, I'm definitely going to say that Vince Staples' self-titled album is going to get an excellent from me. Again, don't go into it expecting another FM, but as a nice short set of pretty personal vignettes, Vince does a really good job with this. Can't wait to see where he goes on the next record. But that's just my opinion on this album. What did you guys think about it? Did you love it as much as I did, if not more? Did you hate it way more than I did? Were you just completely indifferent towards it? And where would you rank it in Vince Staples' discography? Whatever your thoughts and opinions are, leave them down in the comments below. Let's keep this civil and have some fun as we like to do. If you guys want to hit like and subscribe and support some of my other ventures that I have linked down in the description, thank you. If not, it's no big deal. I totally understand. And in terms of what's next, I'm not 100% sure who's dropping over the rest of the month. I'm pretty sure Billie Eilish's new album is coming out this month, and of course I'm going to look at that. Otherwise, when time allows for it, I'm going to try to focus on the 10 years later videos that I have to do, because I am way behind on those. So stay tuned for that, but until next time, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.